Hey everybody, Adam here for True North Wilds out in the great untouched wilderness of Northern Ontario. We are here at Wilson Lake. We're on day 4 of a 6-day trip. I'm here with Neil, Dave, Riley, Nathan. They're all out fishing somewhere behind me. It's been pretty fantastic here. The fishing has been a little bit spotty, so I figured it's time to open up my Mystery Tackle Box Pro Walleye species-specific box. This box is actually for May. They owed me a box because I got sent the bass one by accident. So this is my May walleye box that I'm actually going to open now. It is June and it's going to be into June by the time this video gets uploaded, but I figured, what the hey, we need some help finding those pickerels. So let's see what we got in here, see what we can use today, right now, on the water, and hopefully help us out with finding some of these walleye. So, this box, so far, drop TG tungsten 1/8 ounce hook, so some tungsten jig heads, nice color on them, sort of a red and a chartreuse, long shank hooks, which I like long shank jigs. That is going to be useful actually for some of the plastics that I brought. Cotton Cordell jointed Wally Diver. So Cotton Cordell, good brand. Definitely have used some of these before. I think this is something that I will definitely throw out into the water behind me here. Probably later in the evening when the walleye bite seems to really pick up. And in the evenings we have found that they actually do like this Fire Tiger green color pattern. So this is perfect for walleye on this lake. From what I have seen so far, that will actually help a lot. The Cotton Cordell Wally Diver has this nice little tail jointed section. So instead of having, say, a joint in the middle and having the two bigger sections, you get this nice little tail section. So it acts almost like a soft plastic where it really flips around in the water. You really get a lot of tail action off of that. And then of course you got your nice big diving bill there, which, if I recall, is going to dive down to about 6 to 8 feet is what it says. So offshore here, especially in the evenings when they're coming up shallow to feed, that 6 to 8 feet, that's a perfect depth for walleye for this time of year. So nothing wrong with that at all. Good color, solid name brand. Everything about that is going to help me catch fish on this lake, so I like it. Next up, the Northland Fishing Tackle Mimic Minnow Tough Tube. This is interesting because we are also fishing for lake trout here, and lake trout like tube jigs. Now, these are a bit on the small side for lake trout, but this is definitely something I would still try, and maybe this would be a color pattern that they would like. But as far as walleye go, this is definitely something that will catch me walleye. Nice size. It's sort of on the smaller size for when they're being a little bit finicky, but generally when they're being a little bit finicky is when you would throw something like a tube of this size. So that works. That's exactly what you want out of this style of lure. Nice eyes on it, a little bit of sparkle. It's got a little bit of a yellow stripe pattern, purple and white. Everybody knows I like purple lures, so nothing wrong with that at all. Decent weight. Just a good all-around lure. This will probably catch us some pike on this lake, definitely catch us walleye, and hopefully maybe get us onto some lakers if we're jigging, because so far what we've been using for lakers hasn't been very productive, and this would be something that I might try and use to change that. Next up we have some hooks, some Stickies Aberdeen hooks, so just some basic terminal tackle. Number 2 Aberdeen hooks from Stickies. Nothing wrong with that. It's nice to get extra terminal tackle. So lots more jig heads. Lots of hooks and tackle so far. Roadrunner by Blakemore. So 1/4 ounce jig heads, and they got the flashy little blades on them. Let's see if I can bring one of these out. So you got your nice silver flashy blade. So this would be a nice, not so much a jigging lure. It'll work for that, but what I like to use these for is when you're using some plastics, say like with a paddle tail or a nice long ribbon tail that you want to cast, and retrieve at a fairly quick pace. This gives you that extra flash underneath the bottom. And this nice flat head on the front lets you sort of hit rocks and bounce off rocks without catching too badly. So I like this style of jig head. I think this will work well. Chartreuse, you know, sort of a good standard walleye color. Decent jigs, decent weight, decent size, decent style. I will definitely use these on some of the plastics that I brought today and try that out. Sticker, of course, gotta have the sticker. I always like their sticker designs. Everybody knows that. The what's in the box card I will look at shortly, but we have the last couple items here. So one thing that I like is when a box gives me, say, terminal tackle or jig heads or hooks, and then gives me some plastics to use with it. So right away, I like the fact that I got some plastics here. Supercharged impulse reactionary baits. 4-inch smelt minnow is the model from Northland Tackle. Northland Tackle is a solid brand. It's very well known around here or around home. It's a very common one. You see them in the gas stations. You can buy them pretty much everywhere. It's one of the go-tos around here. They know their walleye fishing, that's for sure. So these are a nice emerald shiner is the color. Smelt minnow is the plastic. Nice fork tail plastic. So good bit of action on that. It's a nice thin profile, which is going to work well here because it's still early in the year. The bait fish are still on the smaller side. The walleye have just sort of finished spawning. We found one that still had some eggs in it, but pretty much all the others have been all spawned out. So we're on the tail end of that spawn. We're just getting into the feeding frenzy, but the bait fish are still a little bit on the small side. So this is sort of the size of bait fish that the walleye are going after and what they're finding, and so this is a perfect profile of plastic for us to use right now on this lake. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. It'll work well with those jigs that I just opened. Smash it down into the rocks, especially because everything around here is very rocky. It's good Canadian Shield Lake, lots of structure, can bang this off the structure. That profile of a foraging minnow, and then as it's swimming, you'll get that tail action. Really, really like that. I think that'll work well. And then last up, we have some more plastics. Oh, grubs. I love grubs. Perfect walleye lure. And actually, grubs, walleye fishing the last couple of days has been spotty. One of the most reliable lures has been twister tail grubs. You cannot go wrong with a twister tail grub on a jig head and just cast and retrieve. That's Riley has been off in that direction, just pulling them in nonstop. He was sort of the only guy catching for most of yesterday, and it was because he was the only guy using a grub with a twister tail. These are from Big Bite Baits, Big Bite Baits Pro Series. It's only a pack of 5, which is odd, but it's this nice standard grub shape with a standard grub twister tail, rib body, all the same stuff you can get. Every company makes grubs. You can get no-name grubs. You can get them in bulk packs. They work. They are a good lure. This is a really cool color, though. I like it has an orange core with a light chartreuse sort of green colored outer layer, and then it has sparkles in between those layers, some black and silver sparkles. Really nice color, flashy, but still has that sort of natural looking color in the middle. I think this will work really well in this water. We have nice clear water here, so we want to stick with more natural colors. Those emerald shiner plastics are going to work well for that reason, and this with that nice natural brown sort of core color, that orangey brown, but then a little bit of flash with the sparkle. I think that'll work well too. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's a little weird to just get a 5-pack though. So let's take a look quickly at the pricing, because that is the box. Everything's a little bit on the small side, so it kind of felt like the box is a little bit empty, but that's just because jig heads and plastics and stuff, we don't necessarily need to have a box stuffed with huge lures, as long as everything's actually going to work appropriately. So let's see what it's priced at. So taking a quick look at the prices, the tungsten jigs, let's see here, the Clam Pro Tackle Drop TG tungsten jigs for a pack of 3, $8.99 US. That's crazy expensive. I know that tungsten is more expensive. I don't buy a lot of tungsten stuff. I'd have to look and see how that relates to the standard price, but I know I can tell you off the top of my head that is pricey, especially being US prices. $9 US works out to like $12, $13 Canadian, I think. That's very pricey. We got our sticky hooks. So I don't mind getting terminal tackle, I don't mind getting hooks and such in the box, but as if it's just an extra sort of add-on item, I don't like when they contribute a significant amount of the value of the box because it's just hooks. Sticky's Aberdeen hooks, $4.99 US for a pack of hooks. But that's actually not too bad. That's a little bit, you know, for a pack of hooks, $5 US, $8 Canadian roughly, I'm guessing. I don't have a converter here out in the bush. But it is a 20 pack, so it's actually not bad. I don't mind that. I think that's reasonable. Let's take a look at our Big Bite Baits 5-pack of grubs. Big Bite Baits Fat Grub, $2.95. Okay, so it's a small pack, but it's decently appropriately priced for that size of a package, and they're nice grubs. I don't mind that. A little bit on the pricey side again, especially when you convert it to Canadian, but again, that's not bad. Impulse Reactionary Baits, Northland Tackle Impulse Smelt Minnow in Emerald Shiner color. This is a pack of 8, and they're 4-inch smelts. So a pack of 8, 4-inch, $4.69 US. So $6 or $7 Canadian. Yeah, that's actually appropriate. That's about what I would pay. I see this stuff all over the place, Canadian Tire and the local gas stations and stuff. That's appropriately priced. Let's look at our tube jigs. Which ones are these? Northland Tackle Mimic Minnow Tough Tube. So this is a pack of 2. They come already with the jig head in them. Pack of 2 is $5.79 US. That seems a little bit pricey. Converting that to Canadian, again, you're looking at that $8 or $9 range. For a pack of 2, to me, that's a little bit overpriced. I think that one is a bit off. But hard to say exactly, because I don't see those tubes very often locally. It's mostly more of the shiners and the shad shapes and the paddle tails and stuff like that is more what I see. Tubes are a little bit different. Maybe they're a little bit pricier. I'd have to look into that. That seems a bit high to me. But moving on to the Cotton Cordell Jointed Wally Diver, $6.99 US. So again, you know, $8 or $9 Canadian, or however it works out to. That's definitely appropriately priced. This is one of the higher end brands that I usually see. The Cotton Cordell tends to be a little bit on the pricier side. So to me, $6.99 US, that's absolutely a reasonable price for the Wally Diver. Last up, what do we got here? The where are we here? Original Roadrunner original jig heads for a pack of 4 is $5.49 US, $7-8 Canadian for a pack of 4 jig heads. That's pricey. That's pretty pricey. I don't think that's a very good value. They're nice jigs, but I would expect to get a pack of 6 or 8 for that price at least. Probably 8 would be more common. For when I buy jigs locally, usually they come in packs of 8. 6 or 8 is fairly common, and that would be the price that I'd expect for that. So these seem a tad overpriced. So all in all, not too bad actually. Most things are fairly appropriately priced. A couple on the high side, but again, you kind of expect things to be slightly inflated for the box. That's the unfortunate reality of the boxes. They have to inflate it slightly. All in all, for what I paid for the total, I think I got my value out of this box. I'm not going to complain about that too much at all. I think that's fairly reasonable. I like the lures that I got. I like the fact that everything in this box right now is something I can take as soon as I'm done recording here and hop out on the water here on my kayak and probably catch walleye with it. It's all appropriately sized, it's appropriate colors, it's appropriate styles for walleye fishing for this time of year, and it should work really well here. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe. You can check us out on Facebook, on Instagram, at True North Wilds. Check out our blog site, truenorthwilds.com. Watch for the trip report from this trip coming up in the next week or two as I get it put together. We're having a blast out here. The weather has been just amazing. The fishing has been pretty good, about to get better. I'm going to get to it. So until next time, I will see you outside.